Isn't it funny that we are technically like 5 months away from the launch of new consoles at next generation? For some reason, I'm excited, and for some reason, it's not as exciting as what normally would happen in a normal situation. And I think the current climate is probably a reason why some of that excitement is a little bit tempered. But at the end of the day, I am still very excited about the new consoles. And one of the biggest features Sony has outright commented on, and they've actually left the door open to some pretty big news that would potentially kind of break the internet per se. Like, we know we all kind of throw that around, but I could imagine that this would be a pretty significant announcement, and they didn't deny it. So, chances are it could be something cooking up their sleeves. We'll have to see how that works out. But this should be a fun video, an enlightening video. Hopefully you guys can learn something, and me too. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. All I ask is that you guys like the video. I put a lot of hard work and effort into these, and if you just like it, and if you really want to be, go all out and be the bee's knees, then all you got to do is, hit that bell so you're notified of everything as soon as it drops. I would appreciate that tremendously. You guys are great. Special thank you, and what's up to all my new subscribers, and also a shout out to all the old ones and things like that. You guys are all fantastic. Give yourself a pat on the back. Hopefully you guys are enjoying some gaming in your downtime and having some fun as well. So, what's one of the things that everybody's talking about nowadays, right? Like, whenever I bring up PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, I get, backwards compatibility thrown up kind of in my face. At the end of the day, backwards compatibility to me is a nice bonus. It is icing on the cake, folks. It is not the cake. It is not the main course. It is the mashed potatoes, not the meat. So, again, I bring to you, why is it that so many people talk about it? Well, right now people talk about it because Microsoft happens to offer more backwards compatibility variety. But the truth of the matter is, backwards compatibility, I don't believe, has ever been a huge factor in any console's success or not. You know what I mean? If you think about it. So the Wii U was fully backwards compatible with the Wii, and it didn't help at all. The Xbox One, backwards compatible for many years now, and didn't help it sell anymore or anything like that. In fact, there were numbers suggesting that the people that actually utilize backwards compatibility is rather low. Now, I will say this, because a lot of people assume that I'm damage controlling or just, trying to cover for Sony. No. This generation, I think, is going to be the most important for backwards compatibility, and the reason is because games look fantastic, and they're going to look better just on the native hardware that we get next gen, right? So you're going to see a performance increase, even if they aren't, specifically like tailored to take advantage of the next consoles. Just the fact that it's better hardware, better frame rates, or if it's dynamic resolution, you'll get better resolution. So with that being said, that puts Sony in a very good position, because they're saying they're going to have over 4,000 backwards compatibility games, meaning on this current gen. So over 4,000. Now, in comparison, the Xbox Series X, they're saying, I think, something like 3,100 backwards compatibility games, and that's covering Xbox One, Xbox 360, and the original Xbox. See, because it sounds really good on paper, but when you break it down, it's something like 50 or so original Xbox games, like 550 Xbox 360 games. Out of thousands and thousands of games that came out on Xbox 360, only 500 and some, or maybe 600, are backwards compatible, and that's thousands and thousands of games came out on Xbox One. Yet when you combine everything, it's only 3,100 or so. So they have less backwards compatibility than Sony will have. So I did think that was a very interesting thing, and Sony is actually commenting on backwards compatibility, and I found this to be very significant, because a lot of times when you look at what some of these companies say, it's more of what they don't say that you kind of take to heart. Like, I always love E3 time, right? And the reason why, and you can go back and watch any of my videos where I brought this up, the reason why I always loved E3 was because you always got to hear the big interviews after the show, right? Like, so the showcases were great, but after E3 you got to hear like the meat and potatoes. You got to hear the specifications and things like that, and that's what I love about that. So right now, according to this interview, which of course will be linked in the description below. You just have to look at the source, and there will be a link there, and it'll take you right to what I'm reading from. Again, I source everything if it's newsworthy, unless it's opinion or unless it's something that I've heard directly, and then which I always tell you, take it with a grain of salt, because not everything ends up turning out the way you hear it, and I like to convey that nobody's perfect. So they were talking about PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, obviously, and free PlayStation 5 upgrades for current gen games. They're going to be available even for used games, Sony confirmed today. Speaking with a Japanese website, GameSpark, a Sony representative confirmed that used games will be eligible for PlayStation 5 upgrades. The rep, however, could not confirm if the PlayStation 4 disc will be required to run the upgraded version like it was for the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 upgrade. They also asked Sony about PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, but nothing substantially new has actually been revealed. But it is interesting, according to them. The Sony rep absolutely refused to comment on full PlayStation backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 5. As you guys know, there's been many rumors circulating since last year saying that the PlayStation 5 will natively play games on the new console from other generations, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, etc., etc. The PlayStation 3 would probably be the toughest one due to the cell processor, which was very difficult even to emulate. Like, even right now, I think you still see that emulators are having a hard time with it. So even though Sony doesn't have a fancy name for their upgrade program like Smart Delivery, several publishers are offering free PlayStation 5 upgrades. Obviously, any major third parties that are doing those upgrades or Smart Delivery on Xbox Series X are also going to do the free upgrades to the PlayStation 5, which I think should pretty much go without saying, to be honest with you. That's just the way it's going to be. Obviously, stuff like Destiny is getting a free upgrade, Cyberpunk 2077, Madden, FIFA. PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility has not been detailed in full yet, but a few months back, Sony did confirm that the vast majority of PlayStation 4s will be playable on the new console. And in his presentation, Mark Cerny provided a snapshot into the top 100 most played PS4 titles, demonstrating how well their backwards compatibility efforts are going. And they've already tested hundreds of titles, and they're are preparing to test thousands more as they move towards launch, and they will provide updates on backwards compatibility along with much more PS5 news in the month to come, so stay tuned. And then again, Jim Ryan recently, after the PlayStation 5 reveal, said that they have tested thousands of games, and they're looking to test even more leading up to the launch. So again, backwards compatibility, I love it. I think that it's a great feature. I don't think it's a selling point. I think that it's something to say, okay, well, you can do that and you get to take your games with you, because I think that is extremely important these days, to be able to kind of take your games with you and stuff like that wherever you go. And again, we spend thousands of dollars on these games. We should be able to take them with us to the next generation. That's like one of the main things that I really do love about how things are shaping up for next gen, mainly because we keep seeing how we're going to be able to take our games with us. We're going to be able to take our controllers with us. I can take PSVR with me. I can still use my hard drives, even if I have to use those for the backwards compatibility games. I think that's still cool that you can still use your 3.0 hard drives and store your current gen stuff on it and use it and play it off the new consoles as well. I think that's great. I think that, like I said, when it comes to next generation, anything that these companies can offer, I think, is like a bonus at this point. But the most important thing is just make sure that the games are there right from the start. Nobody wants to wait years and years. Look at the current climate. Nobody knows how long we're going to be around or anything like that. So waiting doesn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion, all the time. And I'm really happy to see that Sony in particular kind of understand this and are really kind of getting their stuff out the door. And I like the fact that they paid attention. If people want backwards compatibility, it's there. Maybe I would love for them to add PS3 backwards compatibility. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I would love that. I have PS3 games still on the shelf, some of them still in the wrapper, that I would love to go through again. PS3 games and like Xbox 360 games still look good. So definitely I would love to see those be backwards compatible. PS2 and PS1, maybe not so much. I feel like those games don't exactly look as good as what we play now. And it's like, I remember Jim Ryan making kind of a comment saying, who would play that? You know, I kind of agree with the older stuff, especially the PlayStation 1 stuff. Like, I think we learned our lesson with the PlayStation Mini, and a lot of people really aren't interested into the block look or whatever. So really nice to see kind of what they're able to accomplish with this stuff. I will link all this stuff below. I appreciate that you guys spent your day with me and some time with me to check out another one of my videos. Much appreciated. Rack 'em up. Have a great day. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.